Hey guys, it's me, Jen,
And I'm Liam, and welcome to Unlimited Time Magic.
where the magic is you.
Enjoy the episode, and we'll see you on Main Street. Bye!
Liam, whenever you say it's going to be a shorter episode, we always end up. It's like we know somehow. We end up rambling on longer than expected.
What Christmas song is the most annoying, Jen?
Christmas shoes is annoying.
Can you give me an 8-bar of that?
Oh. Please, sir, I gotta buy these shoes for my mama, please. It's Christmas time and these shoes are just her style.
Wow. God, why haven't we done? Because there's a new Dolly Parton Christmas special on NBC.
Yeah.
But where's my
I'll
Jennifer
be
Coolidge one?
fine.
Also, she sang on Kelly Clarkson the other day. She's
Lord,
like 80,
it's like yeah.
and
old.
she sounds great. And I'm like,
You know why? Because she
doesn't
didn't
change
never
it to
have any.
single key.
No, you know why she's so amazing?
Why?
She never had any children.
Yeah. She's like, Miley's enough. Miley Cyrus, my goddaughter.
Her goddaughter. She's good.
What
She's
a
good.
wild voice. It's so cool. It's so cool. But also Kelly Clarkson, man, what a bang. She's released some Christmas bangers in the last 5 years. They all kind of sound like Last Christmas, but that's fine. I don't care. But I feel like I go back to the film of White Christmas. Like that is my pinnacle of the Christmas sound.
Right.
And if any voice puts me to sleep in the best way possible, it's Rosemary Clooney.
Yeah.
In that movie. Like, how does somebody sound that warm? Not a single cigarette, probably.
Well, and she's so her story of, coming up through big bands and being just a vocalist and then becoming an actor and getting her chops in with so many amazing jazz musicians. She is the gold standard. Like just
And
can't
just
even
tone. Like literally,
Yeah.
and I feel like a lot of people ask me, they're like, what's like something missing from like contemporary music? And I'm like, but there's a lot of really, really cool young artists that are like creating their own sounds. But
Right.
it's like there was back in the day, like all you needed was tone. And like Rosemary Clooney was just tone. And I
Well, she
really
was also a
appreciate it.
consummate musician. I
Right.
mean, she understood composition and yeah, she's a legend. Rest in peace, Rosemary. Legend.
This is literally your sign, listeners, to please watch White Christmas.
Oh yeah.
Literally, welcome to episode 22. Crazy. It's like 2022. We're leaving it behind.
How is it really? How are we almost at 2023? This year has been like a blink. This year has felt so fast. My mind is truly boggled and
Right.
I don't even know what happened. I just
Yeah,
feel like I turned a
don't
corner
either.
and it's the next year.
I don't either. We have, the last few episodes, we have really talked about what we're grateful for, including our work and each other and our growth and like things that are changing constantly in this world.
Uh-huh.
And I love when y'all interact with us on YouTube in the comment section. There has been, I read them this morning, but I worked early. I read them. I haven't responded yet, but some really beautiful comments from last week's episode. So we thank you for listening to it.
Yeah, and we're recording this just so you don't think that Liam is being remiss. We do always read y'all's comments, but we're recording this literally the day that last week's episode came out.
Super early.
Yeah, I'm traveling. By the time this goes up, I'll be back, but I'm traveling to California and I'm leaving tomorrow. And so my schedules are crazy for Liam and I anyway, trying to
Right.
sync up. And now with me traveling, with his schedule changing, which the good and the bad about having a flexible schedule is you have a flexible schedule. So
Right.
things tend to just be all over the place. So thank you, Liam, for acquiescing to my nutty schedule that I couldn't make our normal time this week. But
I mean, it's what's great is that like we're both being presented opportunities that are very, very different, you know what I mean, than our
Mhm.
normal status quo almost.
right.
And I had a conversation today with one of my managers just about the idea of Disney is now becoming my socialization, which
Yeah.
is a really funny thing to think about. It's like, oh, this isn't my work anymore,
Right.
which is kind of great because you don't take it too seriously. And sometimes Disney you should not take it too seriously because you
You
will go
should,
crazy.
well, and I think you could always take your work seriously, but you should never take yourself too seriously, right? Like
Ooh,
that's where
come
I
on,
think people go
Jen. That's what she
wrong.
journals about. She knows
Yeah, it's true.
Jen the Forge, TM.
It's true.
That's why the people pay her a consulting fee
Telling you.
via jenniferlaforge.com.
That's true.
I thought about the other day, whenever I see Jennifer, it feels awful. Like it feels not you.
Well, it is
now
my name.
so, but when did you go? Were you always Jen?
No.
Even as a kid? Oh, you were Jennifer as a kid.
I was never a Jenny. I was Jenna. I was Jenna. And I still am Jenna to Scott. So
oh wait, that's so sweet. That's so
yeah.
nice.
So Scott hardly ever. No, he does call me Jen, but he mostly calls me Jenna, and sometimes calls me Winifred. Which
I really didn't know. Because fun fact, listeners, Jen and I have now known each other for what, a year and a half?
17,000 years.
1800
Yeah.
BC.
Yeah.
And before Christmas. And Scott and I still haven't had dinner. Like we still haven't sat down and had dinner, which is
I know,
so
but
sad,
he feels like he knows you. And he never watches my videos, but he listens to the podcast every week. Every week. Like he loves the podcast.
Aww.
So I don't think it's going to be, I don't think when you do finally meet him, which
it's not going to be weird.
I don't think it will be weird because I think he feels like he already knows you. And it's very strange to me that you haven't met. But
I feel like I have created Scott's image in almost idolization of, I've created him as a meme. Like he is Scott, he's your like husband, but the husband, like it's almost like the husband that never speaks. And he's like, and like we move on. We're like, great, thanks, Scott. And
well, you know what? It's
the
so funny
weatherman that doesn't speak. And he's like,
I just shared, Dolly Parton was just talking about this on her Instagram account. It was some interview with her, and she was saying that when I was young, Mama always told me, keep a little something back for yourself. Give everything you have, but also always keep a little something for yourself. And that's why I've always kept my husband private, and I've always had a little bit of my life that was just for me. So that is kind of how I feel about Scott. Like it, and I know, and my boys too, right? I know that it would be very commercially viable. In fact, I went to Athens today to meet my son that's graduating. Oh my gosh, in like a week when this podcast goes up.
Congratulations.
Double major, so proud of him. Amazing. English major and women's studies is his second major.
He's an ally.
He's amazing. Absolutely adore him. But he was in the video for like 30 seconds. And I was so excited because I was like, he's going to be in the video. But they are so proud of me. Like, I never want people to think that because they don't want to be on the channel, that they aren't supporting the work that I do. My kids are working for me all the time. Like one of my sons is doing like my de facto bookkeeping, and they're constantly giving me product ideas and helping like build the brand and all that stuff. So they definitely are supportive. They just don't like being in front of the camera, which I totally respect.
On top of it, it's like, I'm figuring this out too, that it's like, as an artist especially, and as a content creator specifically, supporting you is supporting your channel. Like it just is, because you know, and I always tell Jen this, specifically talking about like time and management, which we're always, every season, I hope at least that we get closer and closer to the most ideal time usage and time management, which I think we have gotten, at least I think we've gotten quite good at it. But it's like, time and energy is literally your business. Like that is literally your currency. So it's like when you have people reinvesting in you, which I think is really beautiful and really important, I think, to talk about for the holiday season, finding people. And I'm even thinking about that, you know, people say this all the time. Are you watering dead plants? Like, are you watering, you know, as more specifically with family members? It's like, they're kind of with you like all the time.
Well, I think too, when you come from some dysfunction, relational, you tend to find yourself in relationships where either you're doing all the taking or you're doing all the giving. And I think finding balance in that, when you come from a lot of codependency and family enmeshment, which is a big word. And if you haven't been in therapy a lot, It's enmeshment, and it's I'm doing this. It's family members that there's not well-defined boundaries. So you weren't really modeled that growing up. So it's very
Right.
difficult to model that in relationships, and
Right.
things that you will find hurtful really aren't. Or things that where you will feel used or taken advantage of, it's because you have not set up the boundary correctly. So
Or
it's
communicated
a
it, right?
it's a very it's an interesting journey. And it's like you have to heal from some things first, but then you kind of look around and you're like, yikes, I don't know that I'm a normally functioning friend. Like, I don't know
Right.
that I know how to have a healthy friendship, let alone like romantic partner, right? But like
Right.
just a regular friendship where there are appropriate give and take and
Mm.
appropriate boundaries. That it takes a minute. It's like relearning things.
And
So yeah.
it's hard too, because it's like, great, what's the difference between relearning and gaslighting yourself?
Yeah.
And it's like I am going through it right now. Best piece of advice: trial and error.
Well, and you have to have friends that are emotionally mature.
Right.
I will
Which
say
can
that
be hard.
you learn that a lot of times the people in your life that are the most fun, and that's okay. You can have friends that are just fun to go out with, right? But they may not be, they may not have the capacity for much emotional depth.
Right.
And you have to find people in your life that you can go there with, that you can have the
And I
deeper
think we do. I
conversations.
think we built an entire podcast around that.
Well, we built this city on rock and roll.
Wait. I think it should be hierarchy. We have not only built a business, we built a podcast around that, but we also, I don't know, we're both idiots too, which is fun.
Correct.
Because it's like, the reason that we're idiots is because, like, it's almost like the clown analogy is like, we don't laugh, we're gonna cry.
Well,
So
Marcus Aurelius said that the beginning of all wisdom is humility. So I don't know that we're idiots. I think that we know what we don't know. And I actually think that that is where you become a person who can question and be curious and ask. If you think you already know everything, you have that's
How
not
boring.
maturity and wisdom. So that's a huge part of why I like this podcast, because we can ask good questions, serious questions, and sometimes not serious questions, like the topic of today's podcast.
The topic of today, which is I talked to a few of my friends on Instagram at Unlimited Time Magic. Yeah. And I kind of thought, with Christmas, not only Christmas, we're talking about Hanukkah, we're talking about the holiday season, y'all. Right after Christmas, y'all, what happens? Well, Kwanzaa. And Kwanzaa into the new year. And what are your thoughts and feelings of New Year's resolutions? Are you not it? I am constantly under construction, so I see no difference between January and February,
Yeah, I think New Year's resolutions are just you're just setting yourself up for failure. I just have never found them to be helpful. I do enjoy looking at a fresh year and dreaming. I mean, obviously, from a business perspective, I'm going to plan out goals and objectives. But as far as like resolutions, I just think it's a sucker's bet. I really do. Why?
Again, it's like, I always thought about that too. Like, when people are like trying to start a new health journey, I'm like, listen, whatever you need to find inspiration, go right ahead. If you see a spark, go right ahead, brother.
And the calendar is just invented by the Romans anyway. It doesn't even have like,
come on, Spaceship Earth.
Yeah. Thank the Phoenicians. I don't know.
Thank the Phoenicians.
Oh, by the way, guess who's in Spirited?
Is it Judi Dench?
Dame Judi Dench. No. Yeah. Okay. Anyway.
Anyways, speaking of Spaceship Earth, I took some research off of the internet of several things coming to the Walt Disney World, particularly. There's some Across the Seas parks and some Disneyland stuff of things supposed to be coming within the next, I'd say, 4 to 6 months of the new year. Okay. And let me pull this up right now.
Now, I have not read. I have no idea what he's going to say. No, so whatever comes out of my mouth next, I cannot be held accountable for, because I have not been able to prep for this at all.
I do have not some sour news, but I have a lot of friends who went over to Tron Light Cycle Run because they are doing what they call test and adjust, which is like adjusting the ride. And they said that the ride was 2 minutes long. So that is our first number one. It is becoming a part of the new Tomorrowland. Of course, I think the goal is spring of next year.
Correct.
And it looks kind of done. I will probably be there for cast member preview. I hope I'm still with the company by then, but I mean, who's to say? I mean, because no, you haven't been over to Shanghai yet, have you?
My son has, but I have not.
Has he ridden this ride?
He has.
And did he like it?
He did.
And that's it.
The thing is, I mean, Mine
To
Train.
your son.
Yeah, Mine Train is excruciatingly short, and we still all love that, right?
That's a great point. I think
Mine Train is shorter than 2 minutes. Like, it's absurdly short.
We're terrible people to talk about attractions because I'm just like, I don't care. I really don't. I'm excited for when I do ride it. It does look fun. I wish there was a little bit more size inclusivity. Am I right, Jen? In the word?
Yeah, inclusivity is correct. Yeah. Yes.
Because I'm gonna guess it's like Flight of Passage that if they don't fit and hear one click within the bicycle ride,
right,
that they cannot ride it. So that kind of stinks. Bad. However, the minute that Tron goes up, I want Space Mountain to have a refurb, a big one, massive one, because Jen and I did ride Space Mountain at Mickey's Not So Scary this year. And it was probably the scariest thing I've ever seen. And not because it was like, ooh, in the dark. Scary because that ride hurt.
Yeah.
It hurt.
It's bad.
It wasn't fun. I did not enjoy it.
And the one in Paris is better. And what's funny is the one in Paris is much more intense. The one in Paris has a inversion and it
has a loop and has a launch.
It's a big deal. So it's not that the ride is intense, it's just clunky. It's just clunky. And so it hurts like Matterhorn hurts at this point.
But like Matterhorn is like, pretty. It's just
at least you've got, Oh my gosh. So speaking of Matterhorn, I can say this because we'll be back on Thursday and this won't go up until Saturday, which isn't that always crazy? Like when you think when you're looking forward to a trip and then you're like planning things for when you get back and you're like, oh, that's yuck. But anyway,
completely done. Okay, cool.
Yeah, cool. It's like it never happened.
Hey, I shouldn't even go.
Just flash forward to next week. But nothing is closed except for Tarzan's Treehouse. My son was cracking me up because we were looking at the list and he's like, okay, so what's under refurbishment? I'm like, Tarzan's Treehouse. He's like, why are we even going?
I said, and son, I gave you one thing, and that was a sense of humor.
That's right.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I'm jealous because every single time I've gone to Disneyland in the last 2 years, it's like
there's been tons
big
closed.
One.
Yeah.
It's either Indy was closed 2 trips before, Matterhorn was closed. I'm happy that nothing's been closed. Jen, I'm so happy you had a great trip. Anyways, so yeah, Tron Light Cycle. Can't wait for an original idea. Moving on. Okay, a lot of this is travel based, so I'd actually love your opinion on this. On social media, they just released in the Polynesian, they released some of those. I can't say it because I have the service here in my room right now. The Hey Disney Echo device.
Yeah, okay, I saw that. Yep.
And it does look fun.
Yeah.
It just looks like, what is it actually going to do other than like tell you what the temperature is outside?
Yeah. Yeah, like again, this is one of those things where of late, just the regular phone has been struggling in Disney hotel rooms. So
I'd love you to fix the landline.
I'd love to be able to like call down to housekeeping to get some extra toilet paper before you bring in like, can Mickey say good morning? Oh, I don't know. Can Mickey pop on down and get me some toilet paper? That'd be awesome. So, it's
I'm on the toilet, Mickey. Not a part of this list, but I do want to talk about because I'm really excited about it, and it doesn't affect me in the slightest. Thank God the Disneyland ECVs are coming to World. Oh, those beautiful colors. They're smaller, they fit better, the battery life is great. And I understand logistically that it's like it's tough to do a complete rehaul of an ECV. Like it is expensive.
So
like
do they not allow third-party ECVs at Disneyland? Like, because a lot of people rent those from third parties.
I think I'm not sure because all I remember seeing is the pretty small ones.
I know. That's
rent.
why I'm wondering. I'm wondering if they no longer allow.
It's like $60. That's all I
guess. I know, but I'm saying maybe they don't allow third-party ECVs in there. I don't know.
Interested. Somebody fact check. I bet one of our listeners does. Check us out on Instagram. Tell us because we won't look it up.
Yes.
Our next fantastical announcement, which we all are I'm very excited about. We've talked about it on the show before. Is the railroad coming back to Disney World? I don't even remember. Like I don't remember writing it. I'm gonna be honest with you. Disney World could not remember the last time I rode the railway. In the slightest. 7 years, maybe. Like it's been a while.
It's been a minute, and I've ridden it obviously at Disneyland.
It's the best.
But I'm just really ready for it to come back. I also think we've just had some things. We've had some people eating things that have. You know what I'm betting? I'm betting that they're coinciding the railway with Splash Mountain closure.
No, because which was announced. Look at Jen bringing up news.
Yeah, I know how to transition, baby. So the whole thing with, I'm not a parks logistics expert.
Right.
However, there is a certain amount of people that each attraction eats, right? Mm-hmm. So you've got X amount of thousands of people in the Everest show building at any given time. You've got X amount of thousands of people in this building at any given time. When you have more than one of those things down at once, there's not enough space to fit everybody. So Correct. A lot of times when you're in the parks and it was rated as a not crowded day, and we talked about this, I think last week, it all of a sudden feels like a very, very, very crowded day. And you're like, what's going on? Well, then you find out that two major attractions are closed at the same time. Yeah. So that was the problem we had at Animal Kingdom when Festival of the Lion King and Finding Nemo were both down, right? Because those things are people eaters. They hold a tremendous amount of people for a fairly long period of time, which allows everything else to kind of,
Fluctuate.
Fill in. Correct. So the train is a great example of that because that's a people eater that goes around and is constantly, eating people and spitting them back out. Boy, I make Disney sound like a scary place.
You know what I need more of?
What?
I want a special episode of Unlimited Time Magic meant just for me. I want a great community. I want voting privileges. And sometimes I want to be harassed by Liam Munn. And all of that can be yours.
You know what I want?
What?
For you never to do that voice again. And also to be in the shot. So seriously, we would love it if you would join us on Patreon, but there's no pressure. I'm holding sunscreen because Liam just bought it for me. But yeah, there's no pressure.
There's no pressure, but you might get... think of Patreon as your own sunblock. Without us, you could survive, but you'd be burned.
We cannot do what we do without you. Doobie-doo.
You can find our Patreon by searching in the search engine at patreon.com or in our link tree found in our Instagram. For as little as $5 a month, you get one bonus episode every single month, behind-the-scenes footage, helpful tricks and hints to your favorite parks, and one really great community. Links can be found in the link tree.
January 23rd.
Right.
Bye.
It's totally fine. It's totally fine.
I really don't. Will I ride it again? I'll probably ride it once before it leaves, but I really don't care. Like, first off, I never ride that ride anyways. I will now ride it. It's Tiana's ride.
This ride has been, we all said goodbye to its current iteration. What? 53 years ago. Like we're done. Like we're all done. Move along. We're ready for Tiana.
Literally, and it's not like you like these characters, people.
You don't even know these characters. Like, and I will say,
you don't even know their last names.
I don't even know their last names. I don't mind the music. I really don't. It's cute. It's snappy.
Fine.
There are things about it that I don't hate, but it's time. Once I did my, and we've talked about this, no one even, if you haven't already done your own research on this, then I don't even know what to tell you, but it's time and it's
time.
Well past time. And we need to move on. And
I'm pumped. And I'm pumped for the railway. I'm pumped for all of it. Let's move on.
Yep.
We have a lot of different statues coming not only to Epcot. We have I don't know if it's called the partner statue. It's the Walt statue.
Yes, that's what you listen to our podcast for. Exciting things like statues. We're going to talk about statues, statues of limitations,
statue of rights. I love a good statue. I do. And there's a few Walt statues coming. There's one at Epcot. I think it's called the Dreamer statue.
Cool.
I think, not entirely sure. There's a mosquito in my house. And also there's a new Walt statue coming to Hong Kong, so that's fun.
Nice.
And I'm excited. It's cute. And did I not know that there was a Roy? Is that his name? Roy Disney?
Mhm.
There was a Roy Disney statue at MK. I didn't know.
Yeah, there
It
is.
was his park. I don't know.
Yes. Poor Roy. He did not want to do that either. You know,
he said, "Just leave me alone."
I know he did not want to do
guess
that.
what? We will leave him alone.
I know because I read Disney Wars, so I know stuff. Just saying.
Anyways, now Jen, this is
Liam.
a part of your journey on YouTube.
Okay.
Run Disney coming back.
Yeah.
Doesn't care. Look at her.
What do you mean Run Disney coming back? Oh, to California? Because Run
so-
Disney's already back. Are you talking about to California? Because they did announce that at D23.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Have you ever done a Run Disney at Disneyland?
Many, many times.
Oh, she's like, and I have a problem.
I'm trying to. Okay. That's why I have a love-hate relationship with Run Disney. The love part is I love when it gets people moving that wouldn't otherwise. I love that it makes things like half marathons and marathons approachable. I love the community of it. I love the runners themselves. Love. Always will support those runners, all of the things. However, over the years, I saw the field get more and more crowded. There are things about it that I really dislike. And it is one of those things that I felt like became financially. So in general, large races never make money. They just don't. They're not set up that way. They're usually, they barely break even. And I'm talking New York City Marathon. Now, New York City Marathon is sort of a poor example because it does bring in a lot of money to the local area, right? But races themselves are not profit earning situations. And quite frankly, I don't think they should be. So I feel that Run Disney, as the prices went up, and I feel that the experience went down as they allowed more and more runners into the field. Now, post-pandemic, it has been slightly better from what I've been hearing, but I don't participate anymore. And it remains to be seen. You know, the issue with California is you are running in a residential neighborhood. California is not like Florida. You're out in the streets of Anaheim. People are sleeping. I mean, you know, so it's a very different experience. Wow. You're not in the parks very long at all when you run in California. You're in the parks for maybe like in the half marathon. I want to say you're in the parks for 2 miles of the race, and the rest of it,
that's how big the park is.
That's exactly. The rest of it, you're in the city of Anaheim.
Do you go backstage?
You do go backstage, and you run along the canal there that's by the stadium, which is really a cool moment. At least this is the way it used to be. And then you actually run through downtown Anaheim. It is a great place to run. The weather is generally temperate and it's very flat. So in that regards, it's great. And it's also great for East Coast runners because you have time on your side, right? So you're flying back 3 hours and it's really easy to get up and do all of that. So, but I don't love it actually as a race medium like I used to. I just think it got too crowded, too expensive, very unattainable financially for most people. And so that's my opinion.
I love that. Well, Disneylanders.
Yeah,
I love Disneylanders.
we do love the Disneylanders. Yes.
Have fun with Run Disney, but I don't think we'll be there anytime soon. I will leave this right here. The Figment meet and greet going to Epcot.
Yeah. So you know that I don't do meet and greets anyway, so I have no opinion on this. Like,
it's just hilarious because I can drag Jen somewhere, and she hates it, but sorry, but you're going to meet this character.
I haven't even met Mickey probably the last time I met Mickey was 5 years ago. If I
Don't tell me
happen,
that.
if I happen to see Mickey, right? Great. If something like I was at a bloggers event a while ago and Mickey and Minnie were there. This was before the pandemic. I think it was the last year that I did the full marathon. And I was at a Cigna event and they had Mickey and Minnie. So of course, do you know what I mean? Like if it's easy for me to do it, great. I'm not waiting in a line to meet a character. I'm sorry. I'm just not, like, ever. I
love Scrooge.
it's hey,
You
listen.
love Spirited.
You
Let's do a
see me
Spirited
sitting
meet and
on,
greet.
don't say I'm Scrooge, because here's why. You will see me sitting on a bench, people watching and just admiring like the magic that is Disney all day, every day, and having no problem with that whatsoever. So it's
Right.
just that it is, I like who the characters are in my brain. I don't need to, like, I like the imagination piece
It
of
is
it.
different. Yeah.
And
No,
I
it's
was even
different.
this way as a kid, by the way. I didn't even like to meet like Santa. Like I'm
No,
fine
she
with
stuck up 2 middle fingers to Santa. That's how Jen can't go to the Burbank Mall.
It's true.
She's actually
Yep.
banned.
Can't go to the Burbank Mall ever again because of that whole situation.
It's
So
a whole situation.
I like who people are in my imagination more
better
than
than
they
in
are in real life.
And we'll take that to the therapy session. I'm not a Figment girl, never have been.
I do love Figment though. I really do. I just don't want to meet Figment. Like there's all kinds
I
of
need
characters.
Figment to stay as a figment of my
Figment of
imagination.
my imagination.
Yeah, I know where Figment's gonna go, and it'll be fine. I just don't care. I just don't. I was like, Figment, stay in the past.
Yeah.
And everyone's gonna go, where's Dreamfinder? And I'm gonna go, everyone needs to calm down.
They need to go find that guy that always goes to the Halloween party dressed as Dreamfinder carrying a Figment. He looks amazing.
I said
He's
we should
fun.
hire him.
Yeah.
World of Frozen coming to Hong Kong. Cool. Do you like Frozen? I love the Frozen documentary better than Frozen the films. The making of Frozen 2. It's my favorite.
Yeah.
Thing.
Do I like Frozen? Okay. So
the big question
yes,
that you guys want to know.
You have to understand when Frozen very first came out, to take my boys to see it as one of the first movies that had a female protagonist that was not a romantic lead.
Right.
It's a very big deal. It was a very big deal to have a female focused action film, which Frozen truly is. At least, well, they both are, but certainly the original. Lots of really good things about the storyline. Love the music, love the talent behind it. Of course, it's been overdone, as we tend to do. We tend to, beat that dead horse forever and ever. The new, it's funny because ever since I went to the Arendelle restaurant on the Wish, I've had a better appreciation for Frozen 2. Because they did such a great job with the storytelling there. It was just so immersive and so beautiful. And it actually made me feel more connected to the film, which, by the way, kudos to great storytelling, right? That you could actually take something that should just be like a fandom moment, but instead make it for even someone that isn't a fan of that. And honestly, on the Wish, they did that with the Marvel restaurant too. Honestly, exactly. They gave it more of the Norway, the richness of the Norway piece of it, and it just kind of tied you more to the story.
Right.
It gave it a lot of depth, and so I like Frozen. I don't love the commercial piece of all of that. Like, I'm not going to have like a Elsa or Anna or anything in my office or anything like that. But I do love the story. I do.
My favorite character is Oaken.
Yes. Yeah. Yoo-hoo. Big summer blowout.
Big summer blowout. That's how I talk to all of the patrons. But it's true. I've seen little depictions of what's going to be in this land over in Hong Kong, was it?
Yeah.
And it looks beautiful. Like, it really does look, I mean, and it's going to be exquisite to look at. It's going to be really, really beautiful.
China is just in general very, very problematic right now. And so it's an interesting juxtaposition with some of the human rights things that China is going through.
Right.
That Disney is like yeehaw, we're doing this in the theme parks. And it's like interesting because there's some bad things going on in China. So it will
Yeah.
be interesting to see. And as I was telling Liam the other day, Disney does not have a majority shareholding in
Right.
the
Hong
Chinese
Kong, like,
parks.
yeah.
Hong Kong
I think
and
we
Shanghai.
technically own Shanghai.
No, I think it's the other way around.
Oh, really?
I think you
We-
don't own Shanghai. They don't own Shanghai.
Oh,
They
but we
do own
Hong Kong. Okay, that makes sense. I know one. It's
So,
like one of the, like, we own
right.
49% of the other and 51% of the other.
Yeah, I am concerned for the
Yeah.
future of the Disney Corporation in China. The fact that they were even there in the first place, China was very different when that all first happened than it is now.
Right.
It's problematic. So I don't know. I
Yeah.
tend to not, it's not that I tune out news about those particular parks, but
But giving it
yeah.
time and affection isn't the most appropriate in your mind.
I'm
You're like,
saying it's an odd thing
Sensation.
that we all just kind of turn a blind eye to, but
But a little lighter news. We have a
Yeah.
brand new World of Color coming in January,
Yeah,
celebrating
and-
the 100th Disney 100 is what it's called.
yeah, about 100, about
Oh,
100.
spot on.
But old Bonnie Hunt sketch cracked me up. You know Bonnie Hunt, right?
Yeah, I love Bonnie Hunt.
She used to do a thing. Yeah, everything in my family growing up was from Chicago was about 100. How many of those do you think we need for the dinner? Oh, about 100.
Very interested because I think Disney might be taking this as the opportunity of, I think financially we're in a better place, obviously from pre-pandemic. So I'll be very interested how they're going to treat this 100th anniversary of the studio. I'm really excited because I think they're going to put hopefully what we didn't get from our celebration here in Walt Disney World. I think they're going to kind of put all their eggs in the basket for the 100th because they have the market, they have the backup to be like,
Yeah.
wait, people are still here wanting this.
I would love to see some more art emphasis. I think this should highlight that, right? Because that's what we're talking about is 100 years of the art of Disney. Like that's what started 100 years
art of
ago.
animation,
So
literally.
exactly. So I'm hoping to see I don't buy a lot of merch, but when something is like, there are a few lines that I will get really into if it is really highlighting the artistic piece of things and not just the IP, right? Which is all IP. So I don't mean that to sound,
snotty, but no, I know what you mean.
You know what it is? I like things in good taste.
Oh, anything
And-
artistic. There are Disney films I don't love that if you present it to me in an artistic fashion.
Yes. Well, that's why I love Grand Destino Tower so much. That's why I love all of those kinds of things.
Your experience on Alani.
Exactly. I'm very into the art storytelling connection. So my hope is that, and I don't mean it to sound like highbrow. That sounds ridiculous, but I'm very into that piece of things. So hopefully some of that, I'm looking forward to the merch, and I don't generally look forward to merch. I certainly wasn't looking forward to the merch for the 50th. To me, that's kind of like year specific merch. It just doesn't get my blood flowing. But if you give me some really good, solid pieces, and we know that the substance is there to do that, we'll just see what comes out of that.
I think the 100th with World of Color, because we know we will probably get a lot of that stuff as well. I think it's just going to look really classy. And I'm really excited for that because there was some really nice Millennium stuff when I was a kid that wasn't necessarily didn't scream Frozen, didn't scream, you know what I mean? Didn't scream these big IPs. However, they looked really classy, and I feel like Disney didn't, remember Tapestry of Nations? That wasn't kid friendly. That was genuinely for adults. But I still think it's kind of quirky, a little strange, a little odd. It's okay if not everybody gets it. And I think it does help that Iger is going to support more of the creative voice, like we've mentioned. So I think
hope.
those risks are bigger risks. Hopefully, will lead to bigger rewards.
I hope so.
I'm really, really excited. Obviously, we have Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway coming to Disneyland in 2023.
Yep.
That queue, I'll go in it just for the queue. The ride's going to probably be the same. The queue, but in the little Toontown Theater. Oh, it's gonna look precious. I'm really excited.
I'm just excited because I've never loved Toontown ever since it first opened. When we were there, when we were pass holders back when it first opened.
Assholes.
We were pass holes.
Said
It's just it's
is a
just
little
never
tacky.
hit for me. It just never hit. So and I'm not alone in that, by the way. Like it's
Tell 'em,
not
Jen.
the most enjoyable part of Disneyland Park. So
Sure, yeah.
it getting a refurb is not a bad thing. I want to see that theater. I want to see shows in that theater again on a regular
Daily.
basis. The big ones. I want to see those big shows again. Love, love, love those. I'm excited for that whole Toontown to be reopened. Disneyland, I don't even know if you're talking about the DVC tower, but that should be up for sale pretty soon. And that's going to be pretty cool. So I'm hoping to stay there at some point.
With me.
Maybe.
Me.
Okay. And
Me. Me. Like literally.
yeah. So
Well,
yeah,
I am really excited. That is on the list, but we can talk about it now. It's great. I'm really excited for it. And I think DVC people are ready for it. I think people are just ready to experience, again, just a new offering. I oddly love Disneyland Hotel like a lot. It's odd how much I like it. So I'm very excited. I think it's going to be super, super fun.
Yeah.
Obviously we have because everybody and their mother will talk about it. We have what am I talking about? Oh yeah, the Magic Happens Parade is coming back to Disneyland. That was announced for February.
Yep.
That music slaps.
Yeah.
Have you heard that
I
Todrick
have.
Hall beat?
I have. Yeah. Yeah.
Legend might be free. I was
There's some good musical things happening that make me really,
because
really
they're just
happy.
they're trusting creatives that one aren't all white. Two,
Right.
They're outside Disney people. They're people who
Yeah.
love Disney. They're us.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's just so refreshing. And you have great creative minds leading the way, and good things will come. Good things will come. Some really cool things on Disney Plus, though I think some of those Disney Plus things will change. That's my little rumor for you. I think that was a big reason why Mr. Chapek left.
I know I don't disagree with you. And I brought this up. I brought this up when in my patron live stream, I was talking about this, about Apple buying part of Disney. Apple won't buy Disney. Regulators would never allow it, but there are some international components of Disney in regards to the streaming service that Apple buying it would be actually a win-win for everybody.
Because Apple TV isn't like a huge, like you have Spirited, you have these special, you have Newsroom that came out, that was from Apple. You have some success stories, but it's not like a Netflix or a Disney Plus. That's
no, and I really think that I could see that happening. I think regulators would love it, especially if it's the international components and which I can't remember the name of the international part of the streaming service, but it's different than what we have here in the US.
Right.
I see that happening. I really do. And I don't think that rumor is just coming from one place. I think that he oversaw a lot of big mergers, and it's funny to me, again, getting back to how we think that he has so much impact on the parks themselves. And I know that he has a love for the parks, and I know that he has input about the parks, but there are so many bigger fish to fry. Like Disney parks in the global scale of the Disney Corporation is such a small portion of the pie.
Yeah.
And I think Disney parks visitors, we think that we are the big show.
We're the loudest.
But I don't know what the percentages are, but by percentage of everything, revenue, resources, even as involved as the Disney parks are, right? Disney Parks and Resorts as part of Disney Global as a corporation is not, it's not even half. Like it's so this idea that somehow that's going to be what he's going to focus on is kind of absurd.
No, I think he's going to give the mic back to the right people. And Agreed. I think some things are going to change. I would love to see something done with the Stitch's Great Escape building.
Yeah, I think that mostly though, that's why Iger was brought back, is to focus on Stitch's Great Escape. That is my theory.
Reason. So to finish my thought before you haters come for me, that that we are going to push away from Disney Plus a lot.
Yeah, agreed.
I think the current things that are either in production or happen, like the Daredevil series for Marvel. I'm a Marvel fan, so I think that'll still be made. Some weird series. I still need you to watch She-Hulk, Jen.
Okay, I will. Well, as
our
soon as you
patrons
watch
also
Spirited.
want.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I'll
okay,
trade
that's a fair
you.
trade. That's
I'll
a fair
trade
trade. That's
you.
a fair trade.
Except for She-Hulk is like 6 episodes, isn't it?
Yeah, but they're all like 30 minutes each. So it's like 2.5 hours. It's like a film.
All right. I can commit to that.
But we're going to push
That's
away
a
from that.
January thing, though. I can't do anything before January.
Oh yeah, I'm brother, I feel you. On top of it, I want something done with that building because I low-key think it was supposed to I genuinely think it was supposed to be a Wreck-It Ralph ride, and we didn't get that.
Well, it's a big
RIP.
building. There's a lot that could be done.
And it is.
So-
Let's bring back Alien Extraterrestrial.
Don't you?
Oh, I love it. We love it. And then also, I just want to end on a good old happy note. That, of course, Happily Ever After is coming back, which Jen and I have talked at length about it. I'm excited. I love that. Honestly, I'm just excited for the song. I just like the song. I don't really care
Yeah.
about fireworks. I just love the
Yeah,
song.
which honestly I listen to on a fairly regular basis.
So
Like
I can do that.
that's
And the best part is Jen gets to sing along in her house, so she'd rather do that anyways.
it's true. It's true.
But she also gets to perform for the people. Also, our patrons, get ready because that White Christmas tune is coming to you.
Dude.
Look at Jen. She loves singing with me.
I do. I do. I'm a little intimidated by the song that he gave me, but I'll be fine.
It's gonna
It
be
just-
so good.
That there's a couple of notes in there, Liam, that I'm just
You're a
not sure
jazz singer. You'll be
are
fine.
sounding pretty. The low stuff, I'm golden, but there's a couple of those higher notes that just are maybe not my best moment, but that's okay. Maybe you can.
It's all for the mix. It's all for the general mix
Oh,
sound. So
you
please
get in
join
there
us
with
on.
some garage band and make me sound better than I actually am.
Oh, I've got you, sister. Don't you worry. So please join us on Patreon. We're doing some really cool things this holiday season. It helps support a show and to actually make it happen. So we appreciate all of you so much.
So much. Thank you, you guys.
And follow us on Instagram at Unlimited Time Magic. And we'll see you next week because I believe next week will be Christmas. No.
No, next week will be the week before Christmas.
I
I know.
Get ready. Well, 3 minutes to Christmas.
You know what I want to do? You know what I want to do is our Christmas special.
What?
I mean, obviously for patrons, we're going to have a song, but I want us to do some Disney Christmas trivia. So
How about
maybe
this? My friends, comment down below on this video, on this episode. Do you want a trivia night? We'll
Yeah.
invite some friends. We'll be stupid. And we will,
aren't we stupid every week?
but we'll invite our friends, maybe a team Jen and a team Liam. We'll invite some friends and maybe
Yes.
play some trivia. Maybe do some giving back too. And we'll have a little,
I love
we'll
it.
all give some money back to a certain organization that we love.
I love it.
But comment down below if you'd like that. It's going to be super fun. But my friends, we will see you next week. Have a beautiful week on Main Street. We'll see you later.
Love you.
Another episode of Unlimited Time Magic is through. Please follow us on Instagram at Unlimited Time Magic. Support us on Patreon if you'd like to do that. Plenty of benefits. It's really, really great. And we're not on Main Street, but we will see you on Main Street. Look, it's out there. Nailed it.